Boneswoggle.
Boneswoggle.
I can hear you guys.
I can totally hear you.
Boneswoggle.
You'd be
What does
terrible at hide and
Boneswoggle
seek.
even mean?
Boneswogglers.
Ew. Gross.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here on another Tuesday night. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. This is Thank God It's Tuesday. He's Tim Strachan.
Man, you're excited. I'm excited. We're all excited
Yeah, we're excited.
to talk about
A lot of stuff.
a lot of stuff. Really? Okay.
He's Kevin Ricka.
I'm ready.
I was very excited until T didn't realize what he was excited about. And the only reason I was so excited is because you guys were getting me all
I
fired
just
up.
like to come hang out with people on
All right.
Tuesdays without an agenda sometimes.
You're always invited, obviously, to just come hang out with people. I want everyone to know that we're working on the sound. We just are. We got new equipment, and
We don't know how to use it.
we're mostly the eye candy of these operations. We
You
haven't
guys were
really-
kind not to scorch us last week.
Yes, very kind. I listened to it. It was terrible. But we're gonna figure it out. It's gonna get better. If you can't, maybe just turn us up a little bit on your end, and so we don't turn ourselves up on our end, and let us know whether it sounds better or worse. It should sound a little bit better than last week. On the issue of sound, we have a huge thank you in order. I told you we got some surprises in store over the next few weeks. We're gonna let one out of the bag. Our very own E.O. Anderson just emailed me this evening some homemade tracks, right? So he heard our whole conversation about copyright infringement and using other people's music, and he's like, "You guys want some music for your show?" And bam, in my email. So we'll sample some of it later. I don't have it loaded up, and I'm not gonna insult.
Is this like EO, like original music?
Yes.
Or
Yes, it's E.O. original.
EO, you're a musician?
We're gonna have to make a whole line of credits for him.
He's a Renaissance man.
If you don't drink that much whiskey without writing some music at some point in your life.
You got stories.
Well,
when you
shit,
drink
I
that
better
much
get to
whiskey.
writing.
Yes. Oh no, we're way behind. We're way behind. So
I ain't writing nothing.
we're gonna listen to that. I'm not gonna sully E.O.'s good work
You
with
write lists.
our current sound setup.
That's great.
We're gonna get sound figured out, and then we're gonna play some legit sound on that sound setup. So E.O., we look forward to that. That's gonna be cool in the next couple weeks. Another programming note: no show next week. It's spring break, everybody. I mean, T's going to Cancun, Kevin's going to the Bahamas, so no show.
I'm not going to the Bahamas.
I'm a total staycation guy.
I've been a staycation dude on spring break every year but once of my entire life, and that was terrible. It was by accident. I didn't pay for it.
You paid for
All right.
You're going to Pensacola, aren't you,
Paid
Ken?
for it.
Pensacola?
Maybe it's a little.
You come off as a Pensacola guy.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment. I don't even know what that means.
San Padre Island
I
is
mean,
my
like
call.
with a T-shirt on, but totally burnt.
Oh,
everywhere else.
Oh yeah. No, I'm
Drinking Bud Lights from
Bud Heavies.
9 a.m.
Yeah, it's going to have to be heavies.
You're gonna have to be Bud Heavies. You need the calories.
But you know, Ken's
All
going
day?
to be slamming nooners on spring break.
Yes. Nooners and heavies all day long. Ocean City Boardwalk, says EO. That is correct. Little Purple Moose Saloon. I got smashed at. So
Wasn't that the brass balls?
You've been to a place called the what?
the Purple Moose
Well, the
Saloon.
Purple Moose is a
Purple Moose Saloon.
You've been there. You had to have
I've
been
not.
there.
T. Strachan has
If
never
I
been
have,
to
I
that
do not
portion of Ocean
recollect
City. I
being
can
there.
promise you.
Okay.
Which has happened. I've been to places that I don't remember.
Okay.
It's happened quite a bit.
My dad. The reason I know about the Purple Moose, well, besides having come of age and drank there, my dad had a mug from when I was a young lad, and it was on our mantle. So it was my entire childhood, I remember seeing this crumpled up ceramic purple mug that said "I got smashed at the Purple Moose Saloon." It was ever present in my life.
That mug told no lies.
That mug, I was like, all I could think of for my entire life was I have to go to this place, and I did.
And then you got there and you're like, what the?
I too got smashed at the Purple Moose Saloon. It's a family thing.
I may
Please.
have. I don't know.
All right, well, Kevin seems to think it's not necessarily Strachan country.
Okay.
I can't imagine any reason why you've been to the Ocean City Boardwalk.
Oh, I've been to Ocean City Boardwalk tons of times.
Okay, well, there you have it. Case closed.
You've been there. Please subscribe to First Amendment Sports for all of the spring break tips and tidbits. But not just that, obviously, more than just that. There's also
More than spring break tidbits.
It's also-
You're really promising a whole lot
it's
of
also
shit,
bathing
Ken.
suit pictures from spring
I knew it. I should have just
Yes.
piped
That
it.
we did not discuss that
No,
in
well,
the green room. That was not a topic.
If you like something that you see or hear, click the thumbs up, and don't forget to tell a friend. We appreciate it. The Redskins / commander/football team, whatever you want to call them, have had a great few weeks, but chief on the minds of the fan base, I think, for the most part, and also just the NFL in general when it comes to our team, is the owner issue, of which there's zero new news, except for one thing, which I thought was hilarious. What's that?
We have an owner issue?
A process. A new owner. We're getting a new owner. So you're getting a new owner. It's like instead of so you're having a baby, it's so you're having a new owner. So all this time, Snyder's been doing all his theatrics about I'm never selling to Jeff Bezos, that son of a bitch, in the Washington Post and blah blah blah. And I hate that guy. Never selling to him. And so throughout the process, no Jeff Bezos. He was never a bidder. He put his team together late. Which, by the way, his team is just call this guy and tell him how much money you need. I mean, he doesn't have a team. It's just
the Wolf.
It's just the Wolf. And we get all the way through, and Snyder's throwing hissy fits and tantrums and crying, for crying poor. Like 3 or 4 days ago, I see something that was one of the beat guys was saying, "Hey, it looks like Snyder's camp is warmed up to the idea of Jeff Bezos because Snyder knows that Bezos wasn't in charge of the editorial at Washington Post." Which is like, I don't know. It's because
he could come in with $7 billion.
Yeah, of course. So,
and it would be the whole. We talked about it. It was such a Snyder thing to do to not want to take $6 billion from Bezos, but $7 billion it might do it.
I would like to open
if I were him, I'd take Bezos' money if I hated it.
So, this is what they do. They sit there, the hands behind on ESPN now. Oh, God. Or just punch his stomach as hard as he could.
I think we are going to see a perp walk of Danny Snyder at some point.
All right. I like that.
That would be great.
I'm
sorry. That would be great.
And it will trump.
100% be great.
It will trump Trump's perp walk.
Of course.
At least in my world.
Of course it will. In everyone's world. Dan Snyder, perp walk. I mean, first of all, it's like more like a piggyback ride. He's going to get across from the van to the thing. And it's going to be...
Or we just throw his little ass.
A Snyder toss. Snyder toss.
I still have this image of him in his white button-down T-shirt all ratted with his tie around his head for some reason. I don't know why I do. That's how I see him.
Get all those pictures out of your mind.
I don't want to hear... we should not go down the list of Snyder imagery, of course.
Thank you. Well, I all I can say...
I don't know what Ken's going to say. Go ahead, Ken.
All I was going to say is I will continue to repeat this, and that is until I'm told differently, I think it's going to be Bezos. But not that I'm rooting for it. I've thought that the whole time.
I don't think anybody disagrees really with that.
I think it's his team if he wants it, and I think he wants it.
But if not, you got 2 legitimate $6 billion bids.
Yes. And
so
I'm not worried about it.
Everybody should be happy. They should all happen a little bit faster than it's happening, but it inevitably will happen with that 1% chance that he's going to do something just Snyder-ish.
We could live through anything if Magic made it, and Magic was saying yesterday all he needs is an NFL Super Bowl ring to complete his quest of the major sports.
Yeah.
And
he's the owner of the Kings, right?
That seems cool, right?
Is it the Kings?
Yeah, part owner of the. I don't remember when they won it, but Dodgers got it, and after the Nats in 20, and obviously
he's
got some Laker business. So let's get that man what he wants, and I like that. I think that's an option. I think it's pretty cool that people like that are identifying themselves with this franchise for the first time ever since Snyder took over. Aside from the guys that he gave $8 billion to way past their prime, every other big name in sports never wanted to touch this place or be associated with it at any level besides KD, who grew up here.
Yep.
And, I mean, jeez.
And I don't think Magic Johnson, like, if he's the Harris Group, HH, he's part of the Harris Group, but I don't think this is like a ride till you die situation. Like, if the NFL is like, hey, we're going to sell the team to Jeff Bezos, but hey, Jeff, by the way, why don't you have freaking Magic Johnson be on your team?
Would you like Magic to be your point guard?
I mean, it's like, oh, you're going to say no, and is Josh Harris going to get butthurt because Magic Johnson is working with Jeff Bezos? Of course not. He'll
get paid for that assist, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the board. I think there's people that are saying it's going to be Harris. J-Dub say it's not going to be Bezos. Mm-hmm. I listen. Your guess is as good as mine, and my guess is generally terrible. So.
Oh yeah, I have no possible clue. I'm saying if it's one of those two, I feel like maybe that's just so much better than Snyder that I'm feeling pretty good about things. So.
Yeah, and I've gotten totally comfortable with the glacial snail's pace of this process. Like, I was like, no, I was excited. We're gonna have this done by the owners' meeting. We're gonna hit free agency with the new owners. It'd be awesome. And I'm like,
It just shouldn't languish till October, like Ursay was saying. But
might.
I don't care if it
me neither.
takes a little bit
Bro,
longer.
it's gonna be Bezos and Snyder giving each other the "you can't see me" for the next next 2 months. It's gonna be great. By the way, I appreciate Caitlin Clark reaching out today and saying she didn't do nothing. It's two competitors. I have no problem with it. And
Because Caitlin knows
and
she
we're
talks smack
of course,
just as well as the rest of them.
exactly.
And
So
she's
everyone
been
needs to
caught
show the
doing
fuck
it,
out.
so-
Yeah, of course. Everyone talks that noise.
Can we
and
just
guess
say
what?
how highly entertaining that
It was
Yes.
awesome. It was
women's
awesome. I loved
run
it.
was?
The fact that we're talking about it
Right.
still is
Everybody.
a testament
Agreed.
to.
Agreed. And we don't need to get into the whole damn thing, but everyone talks that shit. Come on. Relax. Everyone out there that is so upset about it, you obviously never played in a game anywhere remotely close to important and have no idea how it works. So.
I've said a lot of things I don't like.
Me
like
too.
I said.
Someone else hops in the driver's seat sometimes.
Sometimes
And
it
can you
comes out.
imagine in a championship scenario?
Yeah.
Well,
I paid the
whatever.
price for it on the field of play, which is where you should pay the price for it, and
Right.
I've been on the paying.
I never
side
got
of it as well.
caught.
The charging, I've charged someone.
I'm just going to say this. Where I'm from and how we grew up, whoever wins the entire shebang gets all the last noises.
Yes.
I didn't love that she kept going on and on, but guess what? So what? She kept it all bottled up forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And if someone else is letting it go, hey, here's the deal. Whoever wins gets to say whatever they want. They've earned the right.
Yep.
And if that noise got talked previously, you don't think Caitlin Clark had someone say something to her? But this is just what happens.
It is.
And all of a sudden there was such noise. It was awesome to watch them battle. It was awesome to watch their level. Those are two of the best players in the world.
Without a doubt, and I think the Iowa Final Four game they said was a higher rating than any NBA game that had been on ESPN all year.
Because it was better.
It was better.
And it had it held the interest of a way bigger group of people, which is what they
Not
did.
as athletic, but the basketball was better.
I love the backdoors cuts. I love the offensive rebounds. All of it. The level that those ladies played at was nuts. That girl shooting in that first half, I was like, she's not gonna miss. Watch. She's not gonna miss. And she didn't call glass, but she got. Hey, that was awesome. I love the sport, and it's never been viewed by everyone else as amazingly as we've all viewed it for a long last time. So,
And now both Caitlin and I'm sure Angel too. Both those guys, gals are gonna make some serious cash.
2 million followers are already talking about a Bayou Barbie with Mattel.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I mean, it's over.
You don't think they don't understand how the game is played on and off the court?
Yeah.
And guess what? All media driven. Now all this has been media driven, and look who's going to make all the money. Good.
So Angel,
I'm glad it's those
she's a
two.
sophomore.
Finally,
Caitlin is.
Angel
got
had
at
played
least
2
one
years
more
at
year.
Maryland, sat out, and played another year here. Angel's played 3. Angel's coming back.
But she has.
They're both coming back.
She has 2 more years.
They
with the
can't
COVID
come
year,
out until
right?
they're 22.
Yeah, but they're draft eligible after next year, I believe.
I think you have to be 22 to be.
Well, they'll be Caitlin's senior. Caitlin has to play
they
this
both
year.
have at least
Caitlin has. They both have got to play this
Yes,
year, is
yes,
what I
yes.
believe. I know
Yes,
Caitlin
yes.
Clark has to play this year. I know that's a fact.
You can get
I
at
believe
least-
Angel Reese has
And
to.
let's be
also.
honest, they're making more money where they are right now
That's
than they
my
ever
point.
will make in the WNBA.
They're gonna get
until
2
the
more
WNBA
years of
somehow
playing
gets mainstream
college ball.
attention.
That's awesome.
I hope so. They deserve it.
All right, so we march 1 week closer to the draft, and we will take the board up on their suggestion the week before. So the draft is April 27th, which I believe is a Thursday.
Yes.
Let's talk some plans. I know Thursday's a standing Thursday. We should figure something out because that is going to be a fun night on a variety of fronts. But the week before, so April 25th is the Tuesday, so April 18th on that night,
Can we set
we
up
will do it.
our mics behind the bar at the nights?
I mean, why? So
It'll be a guest bartending night while we do
that he can dump.
while we do the draft.
You could set them up in the walk-in.
Where are you gonna go?
Set
You're
them up.
not going behind that
Hey,
bar.
I'll sling some beers to people.
Okay,
We'll
fair
figure
enough.
it out.
Listen, we could combine your guys' previous bikini conversation with the guest bartender scenario
Why-
and the draft.
why
I
you
think
guys-
I think it's a
I
big,
think
big,
you
big hitter.
insist that you want me in a bikini. I'm really worried about this. It comes up way too much.
Comes up a lot.
I never insisted it. I think Ken did, but I think that means Ken gets dibs for taking
never
it,
be
helping take
insisted,
that bad boy off. Just saying. You know what I mean? That's why you're going to go string tie up on the side, aren't you? You're so smart. That is so genius.
Pull, just a little pull.
T's face
Pull.
in the background,
Pull.
watching you do this and watching him go, oh, God.
So April 18th, that makes April 18th our mock draft.
So not the 25th. Not Tuesday the 25th before the draft on the 27th. I don't care. I'm just saying.
What do you guys?
All right, let's do it the week before. And then all that crazy stuff, and we can discuss amendments if we have to. On that 25th can be but the rough draft, the 18th?
Yeah, the rough draft of the 18th, we can amend and correct.
We can go back and have discussion.
Yeah.
Just to be difficult, I think it's better to do it on the 25th. But
All right. Well, we're going to do a draft on the 25th. But we're going to do it. It's going to be music, and it's going to be from our youth.
And there's going to be a sing-along.
And there's going to be a sing-along. So get ready.
When was the last time you beatboxed? Be honest.
probably within the week.
Yeah. See?
Might have been today.
So I think we got to focus on the positives here. T's been practicing beatboxing, which obviously is going to
Beatbox the hell out of it,
hugely.
I'm ready. That, by the way, we have the equipment coming for that.
You got the beatbox
We
equipment?
got, with the beatbox recording equipment.
On the 25th, Kevin and I are having a beatbox showdown.
Maybe.
No, I'm out on beatboxing.
Maybe on the patio.
You called me out.
Wait, are
I
you?
said, when was the last time you beatboxed? I was there. I didn't call you
challenging
out.
I actually
challenge
think, I think,
beatbox?
I think it was.
No, I only I would only
I did it
challenge
for my son today, I
him to a
think.
breakdance.
A breakdance
contest.
fight?
Yes, that's the only thing I challenge
It's the only
these
fight I
days.
have is breakdance fighting.
And then when they challenge you back, you got to go me, and then you do this, and then you just go.
Then you shake
But
it
I
loose.
just remember being taught in the mean streets of Gaithersburg at 8 years old. If someone challenges you, you got to be like me, like I don't care. Be like me, I don't care, and then get in there. And I was like, I'll never forgot that advice. It's definitely embarrassed me in many a wedding.
Oh, yeah. All right, so very little player personnel stuff. I mean, not anything, major, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to discuss maybe something that should be near to y'all's hearts and my heart as well. That is quarterbacks, the amount of quarterbacks you can have, the amount of quarterbacks you should have. So this isn't like the sexiest of topics because there's a rule proposal and the whole. Let's start here. We've agreed in the past the league doesn't have enough good quarterbacks. That there's 32 teams. There's not 32 awesome quarterbacks. There's not enough to go around, and teams routinely run out of them. Like that's pretty easy. Mm-hmm. There used to be the rule where you could dress a third quarterback as an emergency player who could only play after the first two guys were gone, and that was a good rule. And then in 2011 or 2012.
But generally, that used to just be a guy who once played quarterback before that would step in. Really, was another player on the team,
There's Rhett.
like a Brian Mitchell.
No, Brian Mitchell dressed as an active player. You could have an emergency quarterback as an active player, but I'm saying you could dress a 46th player. And
I think teams need three quarterbacks.
So they changed the rule. So you used to be able to dress two starting active quarterbacks and one guy as an emergency guy. And if those two guys got hurt, you could play him. And then once you played that guy, you could no longer play the other two guys. It was a whole thing. And then they said, okay, instead of that, on a going forward basis, we will say you can just have 46 guys. So that took away the emergency quarterback, which is specific to the position, and it let teams say, if you want to draft a third quarterback, you can, or you could draft a third something else. And what sane coach in the world isn't going to have like an extra corner or an extra linebacker or an extra OL?
Well, we're not going to have an extra linebacker, would be my guess. That number 46, because we're like, our two linebackers are on the field, sir.
We already have two.
We've got two.
They're like, we have two? I thought we only had one.
No, total. We have two total.
Wait, that's twice as many as we had last week. All right, so for obvious reasons, teams thought, hey, if I'm on my third quarterback, the game's probably lost. Why don't I have some guy who I can draw up a play or two for? And I think that was 10 years ago, I think, roughly speaking, when they changed that rule. And now they're proposing to change it back to having an actual third guy in a helmet and pads on game day. And people are getting a little bit out of shape because the 49ers were bitching and moaning because they got to their like 18th quarterback, but they didn't, and whatever. I don't care about anyone's complaining about what happened in the past. I think if every team dresses 3 quarterbacks and is forced to, or by rule they can, I just think that's better for the league in terms of developing quarterbacks, which they're not doing a good job of.
But also think about the guys like who's the journeyman that has played here. Johnson's his last name.
Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson. Think about a guy like that who gets pulled.
You never forget a Johnson.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't know if he's going to be on a roster. Week 1, he's going to be on a roster at some point. I mean, it's not fair to those level of guys that sometimes they're in, sometimes they're not. Can they have a regular job? Like, give the dude a job. I think every team needs at least 3 quarterbacks. Raise it to 54. Have that one be a slot for a quarterback.
I'm not going to argue with any Johnson talk coming out of Strachan tonight about quarterback. I agree with everything he said. Why not? We have to. We all saw what happened to the 49ers.
Yeah.
It was like, Ed McCaffrey can blah, blah, blah. No, it's called Wildcat for everyone.
Right.
Okay, they're going Wildcat, and we're about to get you. Like, you can't just run Wildcat in the NFL every down.
I think it's an investment. They spend so much energy protecting from a rules basis the quarterback, rightfully so. They spend so much money paying these guys, rightfully so. Like, why wouldn't you put a rule in place that essentially forces you to develop what you're claiming to be is the most important position in sports? Because if you left to their own devices, coaches are gonna be like, "F it. If I get to my emergency quarterback, this game's lost. Yeah. I'm gonna
right.
panic." So, but that shouldn't be the mindset of the league. I understand the mindset of the coach, but this should be a league philosophical change to say, okay, we're just not developing quarterbacks well enough in this league, and we're trying to tell everybody that they're the most important thing in the world. Which brings me to whether or not this rule changes. We should probably all agree the Commanders are in no position to only get off the bus with 2 quarterbacks next year. Not with Hal and Brissett. I mean, we need a 3rd quarterback, and the question is, do you sign him or draft him? I think we're all in agreement on this.
Draft him.
Yeah.
Got to.
You got to draft him.
You got to try and develop somebody. You got Bieniemy here for a year. I don't know what that means. I don't know. None of us know what it means. But you got to develop a dude.
Hopefully 2.
I mean, yeah, I get you, but that's not happening. This is a prove it. And all right, if he's back, that means we went 9-8. Or 8-9.
Yes. Don't forget about that.
I won't. There's so many combinations.
8-1.
Son of a
out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
You jumped all over it. I was thinking it, and
the first chance we had to have a non-500 season, and we went and had a 500 season.
We're gonna draft Stetson Bennett in the 6th round. You just wait and see. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's what's gonna happen.
What about that kid from the 6'6" kid from is it Stanford?
I do not know.
I believe we just hired a coach from Stanford, and I could be getting it wrong. Board, help me out.
No, but we were talking about he was the quarterback coach at Stanford when someone else played at Stanford. We were talking about backup quarterbacks and how he would come.
Okay.
Yes, I can't pull it. It was only a week ago.
Like Tatia or something like that.
I don't know, but we have to draft a quarterback.
We're
going to get a running back and a quarterback in this draft. That's happening.
So getting a running back, well, I mean, I think I continue to think like the best player or my favorite player in the draft that I know we won't get is Jahmyr Gibbs, and I torture myself watching his highlights. I think, and now they're saying he's going to fall in the 2nd round, which is not a shocker. He's a running back. Bijan is probably the only 1st round guy, I'm guessing, but someone's going to get Jahmyr Gibbs in the 2nd round, and I'm going to be
usually not more than 2 running backs going in the 1st round ever.
Well, not in a while. It's been a while for sure.
It's just not a 1st round investment position.
Not anymore. But Bijan but that's the thing. The teams that draft at the end of the 1st round are the teams that are just coming off pretty damn good seasons. They probably have some things going for them in terms of line and skill position players, and they can. Those are the teams that can afford to get a luxury pick, in the 1st round. I mean, you add Bijan Robinson to a AFC or NFC championship caliber team at the end of the 1st round. That's a little bit, crazy. And in the old days, he would have been, a top 10 guy.
Well, Charlie Casserly fleeced the hell out of Ditka and pulled in the New Orleans Saints' entire haul for a running back to go early in the draft, and was named the NFL Executive of the Year, and our owner fired him.
Yes.
So that was the first thing Snyder did. He was like, wait a minute, we have the NFL Executive of the Year, trained under a Hall of Famer? You're fired. Vinny Serrato, welcome. Welcome to Landover, motherfucker.
Oh, God.
Pardon my language. We haven't said anything dirty all night long, and I let it slip. I apologize.
Who was the last running back drafted in the first round? AGH says Barkley, but I want to say Hilaire for the Claude Edwards-Hilaire for the
There's always a guy that's in there right at the 30 range.
for the Chiefs.
Who didn't? Oh, no, that was the second round. Oh, man.
So Edwards-Hilaire was definitely drafted in the first round, I think, two drafts ago. So it's a matter of whether or not
Clyde
the first
Ed?
round,
Yeah.
if someone drafted last year in the first round.
It's a tough combination. Clyde and Ed.
Yes, I said
Clyde, Edward,
Claude Edwards-Hilaire.
Hilaire.
I said
But
Claude.
Clyde's a tough one also. Hello, Clyde.
I love Clyde too. You're going to be Clyde the Glide if you're great. And he's a Clyde the Glide.
Yeah, but what if you suck at all athleticism and everyone calls you Clyde the Glide? Like that just
true.
sucks. Like the 6'9" guy, they're like, "Do you play basketball?" He's like, "I actually study English. I've never picked a ball up in my life. Why don't you play basketball?" When you just hear those at the restaurant, it's tormenting. The guy should have played basketball. No, he sucks at it. He just told you 50 times, and his buddy's name is Clyde. Like what the shit? Well, I cursed again. I'm getting a hard time at home for my potty mouth.
Oh wow.
Well, it's the unnecessary ones, the ones that just.
The first one was totally appropriate.
Well,
Vinny Serrato.
you've been getting a
The
hard
second
time
one
with
might have been a
my.
little bit gratuitous.
Well, fuck Clyde's. All right. I mean, not the actual
no offense
person,
to
the
any
name.
Clydes out
like,
there. Clyde's
Clyde.
a great name. It's a great name.
Clyde's a great name for a dog or like a pet or like a nickname, but like you don't just look at someone and you're like, I
Well,
love
if your
you.
name's going to be Clyde,
love you,
better
Clyde.
be a dog with a W at least.
You're gonna have to be.
I'm not from that city where he played his whole career, but I saw a lot of people recently referring to Walt Frazier as Clyde. It's like this is his middle name. Like
Walt Clyde Frazier.
I know.
Sweet.
I never grew up hearing Clyde a lot when referred to him. It was always.
And let's be honest, Walt isn't exacally knocking the ladies out.
I understand, but you know.
I don't know who to decide between Walt or Clyde.
Call me
You're
Walt,
like,
call me Clyde, Frazier.
Guys, Clyde Drexler just called. He's got a word with you guys.
that's fine. I mean, his old ass is not going to be. If he's listening, I'm going to be thrilled.
And then right when he probably made Frasier like super cool, Kelsey Grammer put out a show about a white psychologist dude in Seattle doing a psychological whatever. Well, that show was called
Frasier?
Frasier Crane.
And wasn't
What are you
Cheers
talking
Bar
about?
actually called Clyde's in real life?
Was it really? No, it's called Bull and Finch. You almost had me, mister. You almost had me. But the original bartender was named Walt.
Ugh. I dated a girl in college named Clyde and just wanted to get that one out there.
Big mistake. Big mistake for Clyde.
She was the catcher for the softball team.
So no real.
It's not true.
No real other kind of personnel news. I mean, the should we get a third quarterback and where should it come from? Draft.
Yes.
We're a long ways
Yes.
away from that. And is it more a statement of like there's just a lull right now, and there's not a lot of signings in the league to talk about anywhere. So the first wave of free agency came and went, and kind of like the first and a half wave came and went. Still some guys out there. There's still 9 or 10 guys who are totally going to sign with somebody at some point.
Well, I think now people are probably more focused on the draft and see where that shakes out, see what you get, and see what you need to fill it in with.
You got to wait till June 1st. A lot of teams got to wait till June 1st to like the next wave of money for teams comes then when they can make those cuts. So, which is great. Like let's say like your agent is like, hey, listen, you can sign for X amount of dollars now on day one and get headlines and be part of the whole scene, and have to go to work, OTAs and
Or we can just call your ass Clyde for the next 3 years.
you can just be Clyde. We'll call you on June 2nd. So just don't go to jail.
I can't
Don't
stop.
get kicked off airplanes, and you'll have a job on June 2nd. I don't know. It's interesting. I think it works for some guys. I'm worried. Some guys, I know some agents are like, I don't know if he's going to make it until June 2nd. He might not make it, and he's going to cost us a lot of money.
Stetson Bennett didn't make it.
Oh, he got off on the wrong foot, didn't
What
he?
is up with these quarterbacks that are just getting taken down by cops after drinking a little bit?
So the study I
Hold your
did in
liquor
'97
use.
on the correlation of quarterbacks to alcohol was unfinished. So I have no idea. But I appreciate you guys staring at me intently to hear the ending. And
You've
then there's
never
this-
been caught
there's
by a cop. I've never been caught by a
Sir,
cop.
why do you think I can't stand Baker Mayfield? Like the total inability to
If
elude.
you're a quarterback and you've been caught by a cop, you should just quit.
Think about your future, bro.
Yeah, you should
I
just
agree.
retire.
Like, and look what happened to poor Baker.
Or
That means you and I are
conversely,
still-
that cop should
we're
have been
still
signed by
viable.
us as a linebacker.
With this new quarterback
Hey.
rule, I'm thinking if anyone
I'll
needs
take an
us to
emergency
polish the
spot.
balls, we'll be there. We'll be there.
That guy belongs on a roster.
Please stop me next time I say polish the balls. And,
I will.
And,
I will.
yes, that'd
Ball
be good.
polisher.
That didn't sound great. I
take-
don't want to be that.
Paul Western, good to see you. Greg Martin, AGH, EO.
It's a great board.
Dubs.
When it starts going south with us three, let's definitely start talking about the board more often
Yeah.
because that's a winner.
Do we really need to draft a quarterback when our starter has played one game?
Yes, he's so fresh. I agree.
It's more of a reason why we need to.
Always asking the right questions, Greg.
It's not a lot of wear and tear
Well,
on our starter.
I guess he's talking about, do we need to add
Aside
more
from his
games of-
senior year of getting the shit kicked out of
gain
him at
more games of
Carolina.
experience on a roster.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gaining less dollars of contract and more upside to if he
It's a
actually turns
business
into something.
decision. I think the draft
Yeah.
makes more sense.
I love thinking about Sam Howell as being our starter and knowing damn well it's completely irresponsible, but also understanding that it's necessary.
I don't think it is.
I'm just
He
saying.
was a surefire
I
number
get- I get
one
that. I get that.
overall quarterback
I'm
taken
saying
the year before.
we're heading into a season with that guy who's had one start. That's all I'm saying. And I love the guy. And I think he's got the reason why I'm happy is because I'm like, screw it. I think this guy might have enough of guts and toughness to get through it.
I think he's kind of a
This
dog
process.
with a W.
I agree. I agree with you. No, but I'm just saying we're taking Ron Rivera's going into his fight. Like there's a lot riding on this young
F
man's
it.
shoulders.
Let's go,
So,
Riverboat. Let's
I
roll.
get that, but we've come from a long line of talking about quarterbacks for what, 7-8 years. We would have damn near shit ourselves if this was the conversation at any time in the last 8 years. So we're going to go with
has
Hal.
been-
He's got one. I know, but I'm with it. I'm not arguing.
No, I love it, but I'd like to refer to everybody to a certain football player named John Beck, who left the regular season after a very brief stint, and then was declared the starter in the offseason by, was that Shanahan?
It was.
I want to say Shanahan.
They were running a quarterback school, and
Yes.
Beck was a great
That was
student.
way more of a gamble. Are you kidding me?
No, I agree. I'm not equating those two things. I'm just saying the idea of riding into an offseason in a one and done year for everyone with a quarterback who started one game. Hey man, that's very interesting.
And we
Purdy
also think
did it.
we haven't put a quarterback like that. I mean, Nate Sudfeld was the last guy we drafted.
Always loved Nate.
With the kind of idea that like
He's still
that
out there.
low of a draft. I know
He's
a professional
available. He's
quarterback.
available right now too.
You know what? Go get him.
I will say this:
Send the jet.
in the Redskins golf tournament, and he was playing with us. He was getting out and getting the ball. I didn't know who he was then I was like, he's kind of tall. He was getting
tall.
out. We were playing a scramble, and he was getting the other. He was running from the cart and getting everyone's balls, and then running them back and hitting them to him. Besides the best ball hit, and I was like, we're gonna get there eventually. It might not have been great company for him, which is why he was getting out of the cart. But I remember thinking, like, what a nice 21-year-old boy from Indiana.
Well, that
was a long-ass time
He's a
ago.
very young, 41 years old. He's
He never went to Indiana.
living out in California.
He's never been to the state of Indiana. Is what you're telling me.
I don't even think he played like against the Colts. He traveled to that.
Where did he play in college again?
He played at
BYU.
Indiana.
No, he played at BYU.
No, Beck played at BYU. We're talking about
Sorry.
yes, no. Beck was obviously BYU.
Yeah.
No, we were talking about
Nate Sudfeld?
Nate still available Suds.
Was he Indiana?
Catch up, man.
I'm looking at a picture of John Beck here and talking about guys we drafted. Or,
Who would you
or
rather
had
fight?
We don't want to see
Right now.
Your
Who would you rather
gallery
fight?
Of
between Nate and John?
pictures
Yes.
of men.
Who would you rather fight right now? Sudfeld or
I'd rather fight John Beck.
John Beck.
I don't
Beck,
like
he's
John
done way more to us as fans of the Redskins than Sudfeld ever did.
There you have it, John Beck. You've been issued a challenge. Sudfeld, you're off the hook for now.
On the main ticket, Kevin Rickett versus Tim Strachan in beatboxing. On the undercard, Tim Strachan versus John Beck in a fist fight.
He's got no chance.
It's gonna be awesome.
And then Sudfeld and Ken wrestle in a blow up
If a guy in a
pool filled with
wheelchair,
pudding. Filled with pudding, T. I
if a
just want
guy
to
in
get
a
the pudding in
wheelchair
there.
shows up and is not
Stripes.
backing off and totally willing to fight, would you not be a little bit worried? The guy in a
I'm
wheelchair.
going to be
shows
weird
up,
about a
like,
whole
yeah,
ton of shit
let's go.
if a guy in a wheelchair steps to me. There's going to be my brain is going to explode.
You're gonna
at that
think
point.
twice.
I'm not going to be able to handle it.
I may know something you don't.
I once made a terrible handicap joke in front of T, and he stared at me for like 10 seconds, and I thought that was it. But I thought it was going down. I'm just not good at it. It wasn't offensive. He was just messing with me. But
Would you rather fight a naked
Nothing
guy?
really offends me.
no. The answer is no. Like, would you
naked
rather
guy?
fight a naked guy? This is
So-
not good. This is not. This,
I have gotten
I'm
into
sorry about the
an
Sudfeld
altercation
Beck
from my
from it.
car. And,
Oh, yeah.
And I told the person to stay there while I put my ramp down. And the time that it takes for my ramp to actually go down and me to hit the asphalt, I think people think twice. I don't think I want to be a part of this.
Think twice.
And they get
They have the ability to think
say,
40
okay, never
times.
mind.
Of course.
Am I going to fight a quadriplegic man?
I mean, if you don't run, I'm not going to give you a choice. You're going to have to.
Yeah.
So that's the way we roll.
That's a tough day.
Boom, boom.
Oh, honey, what happened today? Oh, you'll never believe this shit.
I was driving.
So he's backing out of there, and I'm like, holy, I
Pulled me
think
over on the shoulder. I thought he was like I had a headlight out or something, and I didn't realize he wanted to fight me.
it's
Next
crazy.
thing I know.
It's crazy, son of a bitch. He wheeled backwards out the thing.
Yes.
Honey, why didn't you leave? I didn't know what the hell to do.
You see me coming down that ramp, you better run.
He seemed like such a nice guy. He seemed like such a
Big
nice guy.
Tim. Here comes Big Tim. Get Off My Lawn has now gone on the streets.
I'll trouble you.
Yes, it's now on the streets, though.
It's on the
Be
streets.
careful out there.
Yeah, just watch out. All right. Like basically, the handicap license plate is a gang sign at this point. Is basically what you're saying.
You got
It's
it.
a straight up gang sign. Does the board have any suggestions for a show ending draft?
We always go to the board right after
Go to
shit
the
gets
board.
hairy.
A retreat from.
No, they're like our
from the gang
obvious.
signs.
We need them.
We actually need them a lot. I mean, I think we got the week off coming up. We have
No. You have the week off.
oh that's true, but that's true. That is
Kevin and
true.
I aren't going anywhere. We don't have it. I mean,
I'm staycationing my cheeks off.
I think Kevin
Sam
and I
the
are still going to
Destroyer
come
Strachan.
hang out in the green room next week.
How about this? I have an idea. Now again, this requires us to think on our feet, and it's going to require some help from Rhett in the green
What?
in the green room.
You gonna make me get on my feet now after we
Take on your feet.
Ken's about to get that ass whooped.
You
Back
never
down the
learn.
hatches.
I can think in my
You're about
chair.
to get-
Thank you very much.
You're gonna have to take all
You're
your
about to
clothes.
get
You're gonna have
T-rolled.
to take all your clothes off and be the naked guy alternative. Sorry, or Rhett. One of you guys is gonna have to get the naked guy.
I don't even want to fight myself naked.
All right, greatest fight scenes in a movie. Greatest fight scenes in a movie.
My brain just directly went to
Fight scenes in
who
a
fought
movie.
each other naked? Who fought each
Who
other
fought each
naked?
other naked?
Who
All right.
fought each other naked in the
Greatest
movie?
fight scenes in a movie. I'll go first since I'm going to give you guys some extra time to think about it. I hope it's not the most obvious one. Number one pick overall in this draft of greatest
You're drafting?
fight scenes in a movie
Greatest
is
fight
going to
scenes.
be Happy Gilmore and Bob Barker on the golf course.
It's a good one.
Happy Gilmore, Bob Barker. Now that's number one. Whoever wants to go second gets to. Call it. Buzz
I'll
in.
do it if you want. You can do it if you want.
Go ahead.
I'm going crane kick. It just has to be said.
Oh yes,
You're going
Karate
what?
Kid.
I'm an '80s kid. We were crane
Well,
kicking the
which
shit out
one?
of
You
each other
can't
for
just
like
say
years.
Karate Kid for all of them.
The first crane kick in the freaking
I mean-
in the Orange County.
The second, but Karate Kid 2 was for life.
It was the Orange County Angry Honkies versus the
for
other Orange County
You want to take a fight from that, but like,
guys.
the crane kick
What
is it.
what dojo was Daniel's son from? Miyagi-Do? Yes, Miyagi-Do. Thank you.
Miyagi-Do.
All right.
Miyagi?
What, are you going with like Will Smith's kid? Did he have like a roundhouse?
What?
Yeah. So,
You're going with the Jaden Smith version?
Jaden Smith. You got one? I got one from the board if you want to let them go next.
Board can go.
We're going to give it to Paul Western, or the Rocky Apollo Creed. I think that's a worthy one. Is Rocky. So you get to go twice now, unfortunately. And you know what? We're going to say Rocky.
It was a great first pick, though.
In one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, once again, that would be the understood greatest fight.
So everyone gets one more pick.
Fight scenes.
You go two, then we go back to the board, then you and I'll finish it up. What do you got, T? Greatest fight scenes. 2 characters fighting. Slapping, punching, elbowing, drop kicking.
Bloodsport.
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, that's
Jean-Claude Van Damme
knuckles
versus the dude that had
the broken glass.
The single
knuckles.
fight like this.
Bloodsport's a great answer. Everyone, that you almost don't remember the plot so much as you just remember the best. Did you guys ever watch Best of the Best? It was
Yes.
It was James Earl Jones and a bunch of just ridiculously terrible actors. Eric Roberts, I think, was one of them.
Sounds familiar.
It was also a going overseas and death fighting Koreans in an Olympic sponsored event apparently.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is the board up?
No. Tease up.
I'll go with Thor versus Hulk in Thor Ragnarok.
Ooh. Is it Ragnarok? Thor.
It was
Hulk,
Thor Ragnarok, wasn't it? Yeah, that's
Thor
where he
Hulk fought
in Thor Ragnarok,
All right.
I believe.
Wade threw him. Hulk threw him around and smashed up all the tiling.
Ragnarok. All right, so the
That
board's
battle
up.
scene was great. That dum bum 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 bum.
Next board, whoever on the board goes next. Lone Star versus Dark Helmet. All right, Greg, you win. Lone Star, Spaceballs. Made
The
draft.
shorts off?
Yep. All right, board. Don't give us any more ideas.
I see you've got the Schwartz, and it's bigger than mine.
Bigger than mine. My cousin's roommate's sister's best friend's hairdresser. Lone Star versus Dark Helmet. That absolutely made the draft.
Is that
Kevin,
before he became
You
Lord
get
Helmet?
one, and then I've closed it out.
I was trying to think of something more entertaining, but I couldn't pull it off. The final scene in Gladiator. I mean, Russell, he's going for his. That's all.
Okay. There's absolutely
That gets
nothing
away
wrong.
from the comedy
I wanted something more entertaining. Like I was thinking of who Dolly Parton could have fought
Are you
in
not
1986.
entertained by that?
I was like, is there anyone Dolly Parton could fight?
Just speed bags.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It was a life, right? I mean,
It is a life.
who was that kickboxer? Who was that boxer that we talked about the other night? We'll never remember her name, will we?
No.
She had to get
augmentation
reduction in order to make weight.
A reduction.
She had to get a reduction to make weight.
Augmentation is a
Augmentation makes it bigger.
really.
You want a
I
reduction.
just was thinking in my head, augment meant to change.
Just think of this. Ken had
You may both be right.
Ken had a penis reduction.
Ken just
because it was two. Because it was
associates augmentation.
Is this a macro micro
He
conversation?
had a penis
Like-
augmentation. Rhett had a penis.
Oh,
Ectomy. Add ectomy.
Because
you didn't
it's because of
actually
the three
wrap.
balls,
They're just-
I think.
These are hypothetical.
Oh, EO.
Why wouldn't you is the first question we all had. But you know what? It takes everyone a certain amount of time to get to a comfort level with who they are.
Yes. Cool Hand Luke was mine, and EO said it. Timmy versus Jimmy is great, Greg, but that's South Park and that's TV. We said movies. It can't.
I do like the handicap approach, though, buddy. I appreciate that.
The fight is legendary. And if we're gonna go TV, then you got to go Peter versus the chicken from.
By the
Family
way,
Guy.
if you are
It's a great one. That rivalry is a
if you are a
great
South
one.
Park fan, notice a lot of the similarities with Timmy and myself. Like he wears 13. He wears 13.
He does. Yes, he does. And he fought like a
And he fights like
warrior
a dog
poet.
with a W, bro.
Yes. Dude, he was getting after it. But Koei and Luke,
Likes to have a good time.
boxing match. There's one thing.
Same haircut for 20-some years.
Correct.
A very good haircut. No, that's not being judgmental. That's two people that have had the same do. And why would they change it
Why
for
would they
20
change it?
years?
Yeah.
30, well, some maybe even 40. I don't know what the year was for South Park, but Timmy was always a good Halloween costume also. I always appreciated the well, there's a lot of
Joe
good
Giordano
things.
thought my legs actually did shrink. But that was
It's all right. He thought I was Super Mario, not
I love the board.
not
debating-
Cheech or Chong.
Didn't they remake
It's Cheech or Chong.
they are very similar though.
move for move? It is the fight from They Live. I understand what you're saying, guys. I understand what you're saying. The Tarantino stuff is obviously great. Bruce Leroy and Show Nuff.
Oh, show enough. Why? What was I thinking?
How did
Paul
Bruce
Weston got
Lee
that.
and
I know,
how did Bruce Lee
Sure enough.
and
Dragon.
Chuck Norris in
Bruce Lee and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Yes.
he was a part of the same movie, wasn't
I
it?
think so.
The Dragon movie,
The last Dragon.
The Last
The
Dragon.
Naked Gun had a couple of.
The Last Dragon was
But
show
no,
enough.
I was going to say Naked
No,
Gun,
what
but
was
I
it-
couldn't
what was-
remember the
what
actual
was-
scene. I knew there was one. Was it with Northberg or was it? It was
Well, Nordberg was just.
Drummond.
I mean, I want to say he might have even got speed bagged by some boobs. Yeah. That was his maiden name. All right. Well, I think we proved the point that on a moment's notice we can enter the dragon. Enter the
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn it.
dragon. That's why we have the board. We're the best board in the business. We very much appreciate you guys. Anyone? Do we miss anything tonight?
I want
guys?
to throw a shout out.
Shout it
I
out.
think we got a new friend, and I'm going to ask Robbie Barbieri right now. If you're listening, give us a little hit.
Asking who?
Smash the button.
Robbie Barbieri.
I'm going to get Robbie Barbieri to smash the button and be a part of our community here. I've
Is he
recently been put in contact with Robbie through a friend of ours, old Deej Colt, the old strength coach at Maryland. He met Robbie down in Vanderbilt. Robbie was a walk-on linebacker, and I've recently come in contact with him because he's unfortunately suffered a spinal cord injury a year ago, but we've gotten in contact, and he's got a great spirit. He's going to be doing great things. I just want everybody to throw a shout out to Robbie.
Yes.
Thanks for being a part of our community. Even though you're in
Welcome.
Nashville and you care less about the Commanders, we thank you for joining us tonight. Thanks for being a part of our community, and thanks for being a
So
good
the
friend.
first show we
Oh,
invited
yeah.
him to listen to, we talked about fighting a quadriplegic in a variety of
Oh,
scenarios.
I'll take on Robbie. We could raise
No,
a lot of
no,
money.
no,
We
no.
could raise
Jesus.
money. I knew Robbie's in. He'd go for it.
I know that. That's the problem. And I know who you're going to think that you
He's
two
got
should
expenses.
naturally go up
We'll have a-
against.
we'll have
and
a-
Ken,
we'll have a
this
fight.
is not looking good for
And
us.
we'll raise a ton of money for Robbie.
We've gone on record repeatedly as saying the fight that we want to see is between T and Dolly Parton, or T and that kickboxer.
So,
I'll
not
take
true.
anybody.
Not true. I want to watch.
I'd take anybody. I know Robbie would take anybody.
I just want it to be known I'm allergic to butterscotch pudding.
Allergic?
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
So when Kevin fights, we're not
love
going to do it.
butterscotch pudding.
In
I'm just trying to make sure no one in a
do it
wheelchair
in
wants
pudding.
any piece of me.
No, me neither.
I also have obsessive flatulence.
Oh yeah, obscene.
Are we in a
Loose
tree right
stools.
now of trust? What are we?
I don't want to fight you and Robbie.
Disclosing
I don't want you to say that Ken and I need to fight you and
I
Robbie.
haven't
know you
seen.
don't.
I want to. What
I know
Robbie
you
has.
don't.
You know what? A YouTubey thing to say is, if you're new, make a comment and say that you're new, so we can welcome you to the show. We'll say that at the beginning of next show.
Because this
next show.
board's not going to gobble up. Hi, I'm new. Shut up, nerd.
Shut up, nerd. No one's gonna do that.
I know, but I feel like I know one or two that might want to.
We're like slowly as we get our situation here starting to figure it out. You guys are going to start to see some changes to the show, hopefully in a good way. But butterscotch, AGH, seriously, we're gonna get to that in a second. Just real fast.
No, think of something great to tell AGH what butterscotch is.
It's the best flavor of pudding.
No,
Possibly.
I meant something fun.
Oh, it is.
Never mind.
Yeah.
We blew it. AGH, it's caramel. It's a fancy ass way of saying caramel. I don't know. I'm sure there's a different sugar to heat ratio, and yes, of course.
There's a sweeter side.
Yes,
that's right. It is.
And T's Scottish, so I don't want to chap his ass.
And it's nut brown, and
Kevin it's delicious. I'm not allergic to it. I lied.
It is delicious.
I just don't want anyone to think that we should do any of these things for charity.
No.
With pudding.
We should do all of it for charity with pudding.
I'll do anything for charity.
I'll do anything for pudding.
That's the problem.
I love pudding.
Oh, God. I definitely don't.
Are you not a pudding guy?
Sir, I was a pudding guy for the first 13 years of my life until it meant that I was a pudding guy. I cannot do puddings anymore.
Okay.
Like a pudding snack pack?
Well, I make my own pudding. I get the Jell-O.
Whatever.
I knew that someday.
Are you kidding?
I love pudding, and I'm not. When I say I make my own pudding, I'm talking about the Jell-O pudding box of dry mix.
All right. When we come back in 2 weeks, I want to have a taste of your homemade pudding.
I want a taste of your Stop beating your pudding. Stop beating your pudding.
I have been beating my own pudding for years now, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
I'll never eat pudding again.
I'm going to bring you guys big bowls of my beaten pudding.
Your new nickname is Puddin'.
That is the greatest.
His nickname's already Sugar.
I know.
No, I never liked that one. I like Puddin'.
I feel like you.
I never disliked it. I never called you Sugar.
That's fine.
I think there's many, many reasons why I never did that.
That's fine. That's totally fine. I understand. I get it. I work in energy, and I spent a lot of time in Texas. And when people would call me that in front of anyone who was from Texas, they'd be like, "What? What did they just call you?"
Puddin'. They call me Puddin', sir.
They're like, oh, Puddin', no problem. It's like that. I mean, it's basically like they just assume I've been in jail.
Well, get your ass over here, Puddin'.
It's my jail name. They're like, oh, you've been in jail. You've clearly served time, sir, and that is your shower nickname.
All right. Damn it. We've been on.
I was waiting for
1 minute too long.
I knew if I said pudding, it would go south.
Maybe a minute and a half too long.
Whew.
Pudding.
Next week we draft shower nicknames. Until then.
Oh, God. You'll still
Thank
be
you
pudding.
guys so very much for hanging out with us on a Tuesday night. I really, really had a good time. We're working on all this. It's a process, and we're excited because by the time we get to the heart of the off season, this is gonna look different.
No technical problems in the set.
Well, we're still gonna always have technical
problems. It'll be
problems.
an actual set.
We're gonna have an actual set. We're gonna have some cool, features, and you guys are gonna be part of it. So, thank you guys so very much. And
how about the fact that our board and listeners can also send in?
Yes. You want me to throw that out there?
Yeah.
So on a weekly basis, we're going to be able to put up graphics and do some clips. And our show isn't like supposed to be like the gizmoist, techniest show out there. Those are industry terms, everybody.
You nailed both of them.
Industry terms. Our show is about us being goofballs and talking about sports and shower nicknames. But
Puddin'.
if you have something you want to contribute to our show, much like E.O. Anderson, whose music will be featured on this show in a matter of weeks, as soon as it's not dependent on my terrible sound technician skills. Graphics, quotes, tweets, anything you got, if you go put them up there, we're gonna get them. We're gonna get them on the show, and we're gonna talk about them. We'll talk about them with you guys. So it's firstamendmentsports@gmail.com. First with a 1, all one word. And at It's Raining Ken is my Twitter.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
It's still so weird till this day. I mean, every time you say it, it just.
So it was.
That's why I don't ever. Send you anything.
I never wanted to join Twitter, and everyone for years and years were like, join Twitter, and I was like, no, I don't want to join Twitter. And I was like, fine, you know what? I'll join Twitter if It's Raining Ken is available. Thinking there's no way it's going to be available. How could it possibly be available? It was available. Yeah. And so that's what I was. And
Puddin' Maker #1 was no longer
Butterscotch pudding.
It's Raining Ken under his profile loves to make pudding.
By the way, one of the greatest scenes from The State. If everyone here, I assume, knows The State. It was a sketch comedy show on MTV. Barry and LaVon did a show, and there was a pudding sketch. I'll go no further. Download it. Do yourself a favor. The State, Barry and LaVon, pudding. You're welcome.
Puddin'.
You're welcome. Until next Tuesday that we gather, which will be 2 Tuesdays from now, he's Kevin Ricka.
I'm mind blown that there is so many people still paying attention to us, and I appreciate all of it. This is great. It's the best board ever. Let's keep it rolling, man. I know we're off next week, but let's come back with some serious business because it's getting down to crunch time for our squad 2 weeks from this Tuesday.
Yeah, when we get back on the air, we're going to be.
That's the 18th. So is that the draft? When we come back, are we coming back?
Yes.
We are.
Yes.
We are coming back to our rough draft.
To a rough draft. That's what we're calling it. It's our rough draft.
All right.
It's going to be our rough draft. And to NES Tecmo, who asked the question, and I'll get to it a little bit late. I just had a picture of Sean Springs from last time he was in the basement. It was the first thing I saw, so I put it up on
Friend of the show.
Put it up as our picture tonight. So there was no interview of Sean Springs tonight, nor does he really have any idea that he's associated with this show in any way whatsoever.
He should just drive by and pop in.
We expect to call.
He would drive by and pop in every now and then. It was hysterical. He's a hysterical
I
dude.
could call him.
Call him.
We'll get him in here.
Don't try to fight him though. Can we just all like be on the same page about that?
I'll get him here to tell him you come, or we're going to fight.
Okay, that he'll respond to. He's Tim Strachan fighting.
Appreciate
Tim
you
Strachan.
guys. Going to miss you all next week, but looking forward to
maybe your voice will be finished cracking.
I know, right? But looking forward to actually having some real Washington football team.
It's going to be the shortest period
Say
of
your
time.
prayers, eat your vitamins.
Tonight was fun. Tonight was fun.
The
I appreciate
shortest period of
it.
time.
I hope you had fun.
Between
Robbie, thanks again for
voice
joining.
cracking and balls dropping, in a man's lifetime. This guy right here.
You're about to enter the squared green room right now.
Square green room. the octagon.
Yes.
The octagon.
Sometimes, and I can say this from experience, there's no way out.
No, and there's
no way out.
I'm going to eat my pudding first tonight. That's all I'm saying.
You got to eat the pudding.
I'm going to eat it first.
You can't have the pudding.
Thank you guys for being with us tonight. Until next time we meet, I'm Ken Marangolo. This was Thank God It's Tuesday, and we are still live.
Pudding.
Later. Does EO use the harp?
Liar. He's more of a liar guy.
He's more of a liar.
5-string, I believe. Turtle Shell was the first.
I hope I got that in.
You got it in.